of awards, and you had more to present to them.
I did, but the truth is, when I got here, people said you cannot tell anyone that you lived in Hungary for 6 years because they don't know where that is. They don't care. They won't care about your awards. I'm telling you the truth. They said they won't care about your awards. They'll think you're a foreigner, and they won't appreciate you or respect you.
Oh.
So really, they're like, Hungary? Are you hungry? Which just became a big classic joke. And it's like, no, I'm actually of Hungarian descent. But that's okay, because for me, it was in my heart, and that I wouldn't trade that for anything. Those 6 years were just. It was such a culturally rich time, professionally, emotionally, spiritually. And I got to walk in my parents' footsteps. My father was conducting there. My mother was an opera singer. They had to leave because of the revolution, and I continued their footsteps 35 years later. So it was a very special time for me, and I really appreciate that time. And then I came here to LA, and I said, you know what? I'm starting over. I'm 40 years old. I'm starting over. But let's see how it goes. And I gave myself 3 years here, and I said, if it doesn't go, I'm going back to Hungary. I've got a whole country that loves me.
Of course,
this work. And bit by bit, I started getting work, and, they didn't know who I was because I'd been out of the New York Hollywood loop for 6 years. But slowly, I started working, and I worked on 24, a couple seasons on that, and lots of guest stars in different shows and lots of movies, and bit by bit. And now I'm on General Hospital. Now with the end.
Yay!
Your turn. Sorry. Is that the short version or the long version?
Well, you actually answered a lot of my questions, so. But I was wondering, you've done both comedy and drama. Which do you prefer?
You know what? It's so funny because I love to make people laugh. I think in my personal life, I'm always the clown and entertainer, trying to make light of things and cheer people up. And I did that in my family. That's kind of been my role. And in film and television, honestly, it's whatever the material, if it's good and if I connect to it and if I can make people laugh, sometimes I get a piece and I just can't find the humor in it. And it's my fault, I'm sure. I just don't find the humor. I don't see it. And other things are just so funny. I'm like, oh, goody. It's like it was made for me. So it depends. It really depends on the material. But I've been fortunate and blessed to have both. And I'm always like this role I'm doing now in General Hospital. There's a lot of humor in it and a lot of darkness and a lot of drama. So it's fun when I get to do a little humor, little fun things because of the depth. But
well, there are different types of comedy or humor, I guess, in people, because something that my husband will find so very funny that he's almost fallen on the floor laughing, I'll just look at it and shake my head like, you got to be kidding me. How is that funny? So I think it all depends on the person.
It's true, because people say something and I'll look going, oh, and they're like, that's a joke. I'm like, oh, ha. And something, me too, I'm rolling on the floor, like jokes with language for some reason. I just find the funniest thing with accents. So you're right, everyone's got a different funny bone.
Exactly. Well, you were really, really funny in Meet the Fockers, and I think that you should have had a bigger role in that film.
Oh. Thank you.
That was hysterical. My gosh.
Was fun. I was in stirrups for 12 hours.
Oh my God.
We're on the radio, but I was wearing beige underwear, but for 12 hours, and there was crew. When you're on a film set, I don't know if the listeners know, but there's usually about 100 people walking around. Crew, actors, crew, technicians, guests, whatever it is. And there's about 50 or 100 people easily on this set. And I was in stirrups for about 12 hours with my leg. Now, women will know that when you go to the doctor,
Oh, gosh.
It's humiliating. It was pretty awkward, but Ben Stiller's such a great guy, and he was great. And the best part of that, I have to say, one of the highlights of my career was we had a table read. I don't know if you know what that is. Before,
yes.
Sometimes before a production, they want everyone to hear the script, and so all the investors, the producers, the executive producers, they invite all the shishi people, and we were at Universal Studios, and Barbra Streisand was sitting next to me, and Ben Stiller, and Robert De Niro, and Dustin Hoffman. It was wonderful, and 4 of us that were unknowns, but we're working actors, but we're not big stars, and these guys next to us. It was such a great moment. It was like, okay, you know what? You're in the ballpark. You're there, because it was so much fun to work with them, and then when we did the actual shoot with Ben Stiller, he was an angel. He just came over. He was really patient, really kind. I think he just finished his 5th film. He was exhausted, and he was still really cool. So I'm like, it's nice when people are really decent and kind. I always appreciate that.
Right. Yeah, instead of just walking around with their heads up in the air and not paying attention to anybody else on the set, I would imagine that would be not much fun.
Mm-mm. Because you know what?
Now,
I would say, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that everyone in any job, in any walk of life, everyone's important. But specifically when you're working on a film or television, I've done some producing too, so I've been on the other side of the camera. And the thing is, the person who brings the coffee and the toilet paper is probably more important than the actors. Because if you don't have toilet paper and you don't have coffee, you're going to have 100 miserable people. So I'm always saying, you know what? We are not the most important people.
Oh my gosh! I could see that makes a lot of sense.
Really, my point is, everyone is the same. We are all. It's a team effort. Every single person on any project, whatever, but specifically we're talking about show business. Everyone is important, not just the actors. Yes, their name value obviously helps, but you need the actors. You need the writers. Without good writing, you are nothing. You need the good cameras. You need the sound people. Everything. You need the food. I mean, every piece is a puzzle, and it fits together perfectly. It's such a well-organized thing. It's fantastic, but everyone thinks that only one piece is important. It's like, it's not true. Everyone is important.
Right, like a puzzle. You got to have all the pieces to make it whole and make it work.
Right.
I hope that buzzing sound doesn't come back again. Did you just hear that again?
It must be my
head. I think someone is trying to cross my signal.
Oh, well, tell them to stop. We're doing an interview here.
No buzzing allowed, guys. LA is probably buzzing. A lot of things going on here. Los Angeles, Hollywood, it's always buzzing.
Well, how much fun is it to play the poor, misunderstood Dr. Obrect? I mean, a lot of people will call her evil, and yes, she does have her evil moments, but I think that she's kind of misunderstood in a way because she's trying to do the best for her daughter.
How can I graciously explain this?
That's good PR, I tell you.
What's that, David? What'd you say?
Dr. O should have Pam as PR. Because
Really? I'm like, wow, you're so gracious. I've never thought of her as misunderstood. No, I think she's understood loud and clear. No, I'd say this woman is reasonably, the character is reasonably evil and dark, and it comes organically and naturally. And yes, she cares about her daughter, but she also is on. It's very interesting. I know people like this. They're oblivious to their behavior, that they're being cold or cruel. They just are. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite lines is the one when in the park with Lucy Coe, with her character, when she's like, you have to be insane to do evil things, and Dr. Obrect says, you don't have to be insane to do evil things. You might simply be evil.
Yeah.
And I talk to psychiatrists and psychologists because I do research on this. I'm curious, how does the human mind, how do you feel this way? And they said, yes, people just actually are evil. And, you see somebody a glint in their eye and you're going, uh-oh, I don't want to talk to that person.
Right.
You can smell the evil a mile away. So I think part of it is organically she's evil, and I think part of it is her past, who she is. I mean, things have unfolded, who this person is, but it's like a mystery. I don't know her everything. And the writers, maybe they know or they don't know or they unfold it. It's fun. It's like a book that you're reading and you just don't know what the next chapter is because you don't know. You find out more what happened, why is she, who is she, so I'm, part of it's a mystery to me, and then part of it I have to figure out myself and just what I bring to the table. But I think she's on a mission. She probably likes excitement, challenges. She admires Faison. Maybe she wants, trying to show off. There's so many ways to think about her, but I don't know if she's misunderstood. That would be so nice.
Well,
poor misunderstood Obrect.
I think right now when you said it's like a book, right now we finished the first book and we're waiting for the second book to come out with bated breath because we want to find out more about Dr. Obrect and why she is the way she is. and if she had anything to do with her daughter becoming pregnant, because we don't believe it's really Patrick's child that she's pregnant with. And just so you know where we are on General Hospital, they did reveal the paternity results saying that it's Patrick's child, but then right after that, Britt looks at her phone, and you had sent her a text saying, see, I told you Mama would take care of everything, or something like that. So this is where we're at now, and we're like all dying to know what's going on there.
Me too.
Yeah.
The only thing I can speak to what you said is before that when the couple of episodes where I brought her the milk, and there is that warmth. But then it can only go to a certain point because she's sort of warm, but I'm like, oh, goody, I get to be warm. Nope. I'm like, please let me be warm. Nope. Oh, come on. And I play into it, and the director's like, no, we can't go there. I'm like, oh, shoot. Because I really want to show this well-rounded woman who maybe emphasizes the evil side a little bit too much, but she does care about the daughter, and there is that warmth. And she just, like she says, I hope you bring the little one for a short visit,
Yeah.
I mean, she does want to extend some kind of warmth, but not much, only as much as she's able to. And it's so funny. It's the way it's written. I can't put more into it. I'd love her to be warm and loving, but that's not the character. And it's actually, I didn't realize it would be this much fun to play a character that's this dark.
Well, there was actually a couple of times. I think one point when you first saw Patrick and you spoke with him, I think there was a little bit of flirting going on there. So I think Britt needs to worry about Mama going after Patrick for herself. And then
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. You're good. I'm not sure I saw that, but okay.
I did. It was like almost, you didn't want to let on, of course, who you were at that point. And it was just, I don't know, like a giddy schoolgirl kind of, the way you were talking to him and smiling and laughing and whatever. And I think he picked up something for you. I forgot what it was exactly, but that's what I saw in it. And, of course, maybe somebody else sees something completely different. So
no, but Rick Springfield, his character, he goes, something weird about that woman, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. And I was like, yep. Rick Springfield and I worked together in a movie in 1994 in Europe. It was called A Change of Place, and I played his baby sister.
Oh, wow.
And I was I was his younger sister, and I was pregnant having a baby. Now, I think it's hysterical. Flash forward 20 years, and now we are the parents, right, or the grandparents? If you do the math, I mean, he's the father of Patrick,
he's a
and I'm the mother
now
of
too.
Britt. And I said to him, isn't that hysterical?
That is so. Oh my God, that is so funny.
It was really funny. It's
I'm gonna have to look up that movie too, because I love Rick Springfield.
It's a nice film. It was a really nice film. Andrea Ross played opposite him as a love interest, and she plays a twin. Actually, it was really cool because I played her opposite side. I helped her when you play a twin, and they do green screen, and then you have to flip over and do one side, and then flip and do the other side. So I would be reading opposite her, helping her do the other stuff. But I played Rick Springfield's sister having a baby.
Aww.
And the director, and I've never had a kid. I don't have children, and the director, she didn't have children. I didn't have child, so I don't know what it's like when you go into labor like immediately. And all the guys in the crew, the Hungarians, they all have like 20 children each. And we're like, can somebody help us? What do you do? Can you give us a clue here? What happens when your wife goes into labor? Oh yeah, we show you, no problem. These big, like 500-pound guys came over, like, okay, lady, we show you what to do. We were helpless. Donna Deitch, the director, and myself were like, what do you do? I mean, I don't know. It was fun.
Well, that's one role that you probably should have researched and gone into a maternity ward, and you would see.
Probably. You know what? You're absolutely right. And usually you do. You research a lot of stuff if you need to. Like this one, Obrect. Like I said, I talked to friends or psychiatrists and psychologists. Like, is this like a real thing that can happen? They're like, absolutely. And it's really people are dark. I mean, I hate to say this, there's a lot of dark stuff going on in the world, but what I find really entertaining, people write to me. I get emails and fan mail and like, you are so evil, you are a horrible human being. Why don't you release Rob?